Hello, 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 and hello, all of my friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. This is Tarot Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day, and I'm back with another deck from my gigantic, enormous, magnanimous collection. Very, very, very generous collection. Speaking of generosity, I have a deck that is just so beautiful, so happy, so cute. So for all of my little summer fairies out there, we have the Phantasma Tarot by Pauline Fay. Look at these illustrations. Look at the artwork. So cute. This is a beautiful deck. I think I got this as a wedding present from my friend April, who I think aside from Nakia and my sisters, I think my number one deck gifter has to be my friend April. Hey April, what's up if you're watching? She is just so cool. I met her. She used to be my manager at the movie theater, and she was 16 and I was like 24, and she was totally terrified of me, but now we're like sushi besties. So absolutely gorgeous deck. This was such a great wedding gift sort of deck, I think, because there's something very light and bright about it. There was something very fairy-like about my wedding that I feel like the artwork kind of went with my whole aesthetic. But look at this. So Pauline Fay is an artist, and she's so smart. She knows what she likes, and she likes to do fairies and nature and spiritual images, and she works so consistently and so prolifically because she's just like, I know what I like. I like just drawing images out of the ether. And she like lays these beautiful watercolor grounds down on paper, and then she just draws over them with ink and pen and colored pencils. And there's something just so natural about her mark making. Something so free and wispy. So this is the Tower, right? And so anybody who knows tarot knows that the Tower is a card that people are like, oh my God, like there are no bad cards in tarot. All of them are for our highest good. But a lot of people they don't like seeing the Tower because the Tower means this deep change. And so the imagery can sometimes be really intimidating, but even still here, we have just something you want to look at. Beautiful, lovely, free, fluid marks. They're gestural, they're sketchy, but in this really just intuitive way. You can tell she's not thinking about this too hard. She's just allowing the pen to be guided. And yeah, here we have death right after it. And just still beautiful, just fairy-like mark making that she does. And so she puts down these beautiful watercolor grounds and then just allows these images to emerge under her pen. And you can just really see the beauty of it, and she's just really like, when I think of Pauline Fay's art, she's someone who's just so aligned with her purpose. That she's not overthinking it. She's not bringing her, like, I don't know her personally, but like, I feel like she's not bringing herself into a state of anxiety with her art, right? Like, this is one of the reasons why I don't know if I could be an artist all the time, because I love making art, but when I get into that place where I'm overthinking it, I have to like stop for a while or switch a medium. But she is confidently pulling just the most beautiful, fantastical images out of the ether. And that's why she calls this the Phantasma Tarot, because these are all figments. These are all just things that come out of the ether that just emerge. Fairies, dragons, little earwiggy creatures that just, like, look at these guys. They're just so creative. They're so imaginative, but they're not like any bird that you might see. They are something like really put together. So this one in particular, I'm actually thinking of the person I'm writing my dissertation on, Salvatore Rosa, who was known for making these incredible, fantastical monsters. He would look at like animal anatomies and skeletons, and he would like use them as a base for invention. A lot of people were doing that, but he was really good at it. Just trying to create a sense of the marvelous and the fantastic by taking things from real life and building them into something that is so beyond third dimensional reality, right? So I really, really, really love her artwork and her colors. So I love her line work. I love her mark making. But the colors that she chooses also are just so beautiful. They're light, and she uses these beautiful sheer washes. So nothing is too solid, nothing's too in your face. It's just, everything is like it came out of a dream, right? Like everything is like it came out of a dream, but not in a hazy way. It's just like, it reminds me of like the Victorian fairy art, you know, people like Arthur Rackham. Like if you're a big reader of Enchanted Living magazine, was where I was introduced to a lot of Victorian fairy art. And she really seems to be drawing off of that tradition of just imagination, creativity, but coming from this intuitive, natural place and using colors and lines and compositional elements that just, like the way that she organizes her space, everything just comes together in just that beautiful, natural, intuitive way. Nobody could do it but her, right? This is where you can just really see an artist's signature. Nobody could do this but her, right? So when you're looking for your, like, just, you know, just me saying stuff, if you're an artist and you're looking for your voice, just have some fun and start playing. And even if you do things that's like in the same niche over and over and over and over, don't sweat it. That's just something that you're channeling from. That's a world that you're drawing from. And just allow those messages to come through. Don't judge it. And I need to be talking to myself too, really. Like, because I've been doing oracle cards and I love the style that I'm working in. And I'm probably just going to stick with that style, you know? Because I can do that, and even I don't even realize until after I'm done with an image. Sometimes months later I'll read something, I'll be like, oh my God, I made a card that expresses this philosophy or this spiritual thing or this sacred geometry in a way that I didn't know about. But it's right there on the card, and I made it 6 months before I received this information, you know? So if you are an artist and you just find yourself working in a niche, maybe there's something spiritual about that. Maybe you're receiving psychic information from a specific plane that wants to bring messages through, and you're just using these images as portals to bring that through, because the feeling that you get when you look at this, that's what it's about, right? The feeling that you get when you look at artwork that is made through these natural intuitive processes is really something that can be felt, right? So anyway, that's Pauline Faye's Phantasma Tarot. I'm going to just give the deck the old shuffle-roo, and we're going to see what message we get for the collective today. Wow, that was just a bunch of things that... Oh, okay, so... Every time I do a tarot deck, I can't just get one card. Why can't I be like one of those readers on the internet who can just be like, blam, here's the message. Like, I just can't do that. All right, here we go. I don't know, maybe I'm locking myself into an identity. So the first thing that we have is the Two of Wands. Beautiful, love the lion imagery. The second thing that we have is an inversion of Justice. Wow, the spirals and the owl. God, I love that card. Oh, Justice. The next thing that's coming out, all right. The next thing that's coming out, all right, they're all inverted, so I'm just going to have to go with it, is an inversion of the Fool. And the next thing that we have is an inversion of the Eight of Cups. All right, so as I'm allowing a message to emerge, I'm going to just take a little tiny look at my book because that Eight of Cups feels a little question marky to me. And I would like to just look at some of my interpretations to understand it better. Okay. This is very much about you and your intuition. All right. So here's what I have here. So first of all, the Two of Wands is when you have, so 2 in tarot, it's a balance number. And Wands is a suit of fire, passion, creativity. There is like some sort of balance, maybe a balance that you're trying to achieve in your life between like work and home, or passion and like relationships, right? Or maybe there are 2 very fiery people that want to balance their work together. However this applies for you, because this is a collective reading. But you're seeking some kind of a balance in a suit that is somehow related to your motivational body or your inner fire. Whether it's outside of you and it's you in a person, or whether it's parts of yourself that you're trying to balance, or whether it's aspects of your life that you're trying to balance, right? The Lion gives me this solar energy as well, which is just more fire. But there's something really happy about solar energy. There's something very powerful about solar energy. Now, Justice inverted means that what you're struggling with right now, because again, we have another 2. We have more balance, right? But the scales, when the Justice is inverted, that means that the scales aren't quite balanced. So and this is major arcana. So it's like, there's an area where you're like, this isn't fair. Or I don't know how this is going to work or become sustainable if I don't achieve some kind of a balance in this area. But this is an owl here, right? Which is wisdom, right? And spirals as well is coming out to me. And a spiral in sacred geometry, like this is adding dimensionality. So let's say, for instance, I used to have a hard time finishing things, right? And so I used to leave projects unfinished, or I would just, and it would be a source of shame for me, right? I don't know why I'm telling the story, but it's just like, this is where we're going here. And it was like, I was ashamed of the fact that I couldn't finish things, and it was coming from a place of shame, right? Now, there are times where like a major project might have to go on hiatus, and I have to trust myself that I'm going to come back to it. I have to come from a place of trust rather than fear. What that means is that even though I seem to have, I could say, oh, it's a circle and I keep looping back to this persona who can't finish anything. Instead, if it's a spiral, I have spiraled up to somebody who can come at this from trust rather than shame, right? And you're going up octave. So even if you are, there are situations in your life where you're like, this is resonating with another trauma that I had, or another part of myself that I was uncomfortable with, or I thought I'd fix this, and am I backsliding, right? Spirals mean that you're spiraling up, that you're approaching a similar scenario from a different octave, right? From a different spiritual perspective. So if whatever this balance is that you're looking to achieve is reminding you of a situation, approach it with wisdom, like the owl, in order to like turn your frown upside down here and balance those scales. You're being advised to be like the owl, be wise, be patient, take some time alone to think about how you have spiraled up and how this is not the same, because you are not the same. You are literally on a different register than that other version of you, right? Now, if we go to the Fool, in tarot, the Fool is somebody who can be a little naive, right? And with the Fool in a reversal, we're looking at something. We're looking at someone who's holding back gifts, holding back talents. We're looking at so the Fool has this energy where they just like, they walk into something, and that can be foolish. In the Rider-Waite Tarot, I don't think, yeah, he's kind of walking off the moon, but in the Rider-Waite Tarot, in our classic Coleman imagery, right, We have somebody kind of blithely walking and not paying attention. They walk off a cliff, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean a large fall. All kinds of things can happen when you decide to take the leap. Yes, look before you leap, but all kinds of things can happen before you take the leap. And it's like you're holding back on taking a leap. You're holding back off of this is what I'm getting something very powerful coming through. In what ways in this situation, as it applies to you, are you holding on to burdens that are causing you to be so cautious before you can take a leap? That are causing you to be so cautious before you can just choose to walk forward and accept whatever comes, right? Like, how did you lose your spontaneity? How did you lose that willingness to just go and see what happens? What happened to that playfulness? If these words are resonating with you, think about how you can unburden yourself of that weight and just allow yourself to walk and allow whatever happens to come. Because in this tarot, what is our little fellow about to walk off of? The moon. And what's there? Clouds, stars, all kinds of things that might support this character. All kinds of things that, just because it's unknown doesn't mean that it's not an awesome adventure that isn't going to take you somewhere cool, right? So it's like, I'm going at this like it's the Two of Swords, which is decisions. The Two of Wands isn't decisions, but you are being asked to put something in your life into balance. You're being asked to look at how releasing yourself of anxiety, worry, burdens, and approaching the problem with wisdom and spontaneity might be the key to finding the balance that you're seeking, right? And then we have this Eight of Cups, which is, let me go back to that. Then we have this Eight of Cups, which is, this card can talk about indecision. And so if in finding this balance that you need, in making choices to achieve this balance, you have to follow your intuition, right? So this is interesting because this is a conversation that could easily have been expressed through swords and thinking things through, right? That's not what you're being asked to do. You're being asked to be like our artist here. You're being asked to just follow your intuition, not exactly knowing what's going to happen, but to use wisdom and discernment as you're walking the path. Not overthinking. Discernment, right? You're being asked to rely on your water energy. That's the feelings, the emotions, the cups, your intuition, your inner knowing, right? The answers to finding the balance in your life, in whatever issue this might be, are already there. Whether it's personal, whether it's social, whether it's someone that you're worried about who has a problem balancing something and they've been on your heart and you're like, I wish I could help them, right? Wherever you're seeing this imbalance, that you're feeling like a hunger and a fire to make it right. Your intuition, your spontaneity, your wisdom and discernment. These are the tools that you should be using, not necessarily logic. Wisdom and logic aren't exactly the same thing, right? It's very like, Socrates kind of a thing. Socrates said, like, he who is wise is the person who knows that they know nothing, or they, because, we don't need to gender it. Like, the person who is wise is the person who knows they know nothing. Can you be like the fool? Zero, right? Empty yourself. Empty yourself to come to whatever this balance might happen to be, whatever it might happen to look like, right? So I'm feeling complete. I'm feeling like that's the message. Thank you so much. If you stay to the end, awesome. I love you. Please, I am always so thrilled when people interact, comment. I love hearing from you. If this is raising any question marks for you and you'd like to polish off some corners, please send me a DM here or on Instagram at The Lady in Lantern. I would love to book an appointment with you. Love you all so, so, so much. Have an absolutely fantastic week. I will see you next time with another awesome deck. Bye.